How's it going, guys? This is the Core 3 from FightingGamesOnline.info, and I am back with another fighting game tips and definitions. All right, this time we're going to be going over chains, links, and command combos. Okay, so you have probably been wondering when we're going to go to combos, and I know why. Combos, in my opinion, are amazing. There's certain kind of flashiness that makes them exciting. In most cases, they require some dedication to really master, and in my opinion, it is the most control you'll ever have over a video game character, which is ultimately the thing that really sets fighting games apart from other video games. If you're just jumping into fighting games for the first time, learning how to do combos can be very confusing and even intimidating. Developers don't oftentimes explain their systems, leaving it to discovery. So creating combos can be a bit daunting, especially if you're trying to figure it out yourself. All right. So what I'm aiming to do in this next few videos is show you what you need to look for and how to create combos without having to look, at the challenge mode. All right. So what are combos? Combos are basically a sequence of attacks that cannot be blocked, right? And then I'm just going to show you right here. So what we're going to do, take the dummy, and then we're going to put it on after first attack, right? Right, so just so you know that he's basically blocking after this second attack, right? But if I do it correctly, you'll see that he's basically not able to block, right? After I hit, after I do the first hit, I've essentially done like what you call a 3-string combo. As you can see here on the left-hand side, you see that it's 3 hits, right? So basically, it's a sequence of attacks, and basically once you land the attack, it doesn't stop until that sequence ends, right? When you start trying to create combos, you have to think about them in a situational sense, and I'll explain this further in other videos, right? If I were to put combos into a basic flowchart, it would most likely be your normals, specials, and then supers. Of course, this isn't always going to be the case, and I'll get into that later. Now, fighting games often carry 3 distinct types of mechanics on a very basic level. As you might have already guessed, the first type of combo was found in Street Fighter II, and it was actually something developers thought would be too difficult to execute. Of course, they were very wrong, and players uncovered what we know today as links. So how do links work? Now, if you remember in the earlier video, I talked about frame data. And remember that each attack has 3 distinct frames of animation: startup, active, and then recovery. So when you throw out a link-based attack, the first hit of your normal puts your opponent into the hit stun, right? Let me go back in there. Right, so you have the hit stun, right? And then this hit stun basically has +7 frames on this attack here, right? So as you see, I'm hitting the character, and the character is going into this sort of a reeling state, right? And if I do the weak attack here, that's the medium attack, you kind of see that the states are sort of different, right? So based on the hit stun, the recovery of your first hit, and the startup of your second hit, a link can occur during this time, right? So that's essentially a link, right? So the most important thing to note about links is that you have to time them so that they land successfully, right? Now, in Street Fighter V, they've really compared to other fighting games, they really have kind of decreased the timing that it takes for you to do a link. So it's a lot easier to do a link, right? But of course, there's still, you have like what you call like kind of 2-frame links, 3-frame links, and you have a 1-frame link, right? So I believe with Street Fighter V, it's between, I believe, a 3 and a 2-frame link in terms of timing. 1-frame link being the hardest one to do, okay? So as I was saying before, if the option is available in the training room of your fighting game, a great method for practicing links and combos in general is the guard option, basically that says after first hit. I'll just show you just in case I did skip over it. But you see here it says after first attack, right? So that's a great way. By doing this, you'll be able to figure out whether you have successfully connected your second hit and other connecting attacks for your combo. All right. Now, as another recommendation, you want to pay attention to the character that you're hitting, uh, and then basically rather than how fast your move recovers, as you want to get the timing of your next attack to land before their stun animation ends, right? So like I was showing you kind of earlier, that the character is kind of in this this reeling animation, right? So that's something you want to pay attention to, because basically you want to basically time your link to connect before that animation ends, right? So you kind of have enough time to kind of link another move into, right? So hopefully you kind of are getting the idea about that, right? There are also special circumstances that will increase the hit stun, giving you interesting opportunities to link other moves, which often have slower startup. Now, a counter is usually what allows this to happen. Okay, so before I show you what the counter can do, let's just take a look at your basic normals, right? Just to get an idea of what the frame advantage is, right? And I kind of forgot to mention that the frame advantage essentially is what you kind of use to gauge if you can actually follow up, if you can actually link into something else, right? That's how you kind of determine, if something will link, right? So here you see that Ryu has basically +7 with his medium punch, and +4 with his his weak punch, right? But yeah, you got basically +7 as far as the medium punch goes, +4 as far as your light punch. So let's go ahead and take that to the counter, and let's turn on the countering system, right? And so what you're going to notice is when I hit him with the counter, it's +9, right? And then the weak punch is +6, right? So as you can see, it gives you an additional, amount of frames in terms of your advantage, right? And so what this allows you to do is to link into things that you might have not been able to link it to before, right? So if I just, once again, I'll take the counter system off, and let's say I want to, oh yeah, let me turn on the, let's say I want to link into this, right? It's not allowing me to do that, right? I want to link into my strong move. It's not letting me do that. And of course, the reason it's not letting me do that is because this has a slow startup, right? Same thing with like his other part, this other kick that he does, slow startup. So those moves aren't going to be able to link because they have a slow startup, because of course after he recovers, he has to be able to basically still catch him while he's in his hit stun, right? So while, yeah, this kick has a +4, right, you only have so much time, basically. You got to find a move that basically has enough startup, that's going to start up in time, basically, in order for that move to connect and make a link, right? So because we now we have counter, and we put the counter on, now we have moves basically, now we have the ability with our counter, with +9, you have now the ability to basically link with moves that are much slower with their startup, right? So one of the first things you'll see, one of the first examples I can use now is the fact that sweep now is going to link if I can counter with the medium, right? I don't think it will do it because you're only getting 6 with that one. So the +9 essentially allows us to now link the slower startup of the sweep, which is your strong kick, right? It can also link into strong punch, but right. And of course, the game also has Street Fighter V actually also has something called Crush Counter, and Crush Counter basically gives you an additional, it boosts the frame advantage to something ridiculous, so that basically you can follow up with another attack, right? And I'll just show you that. So it allowed me to follow up with 2 strong kicks off of that, that one frame counter, right? Off of that counter, right? So it just gives you a good bit of frame advantage, right? Same thing for all of them. Of course, they kind of work differently for each one, so there's that too, right? So that pretty much sums up links, all right? So next we're going to talk about chains, right? Chains have traditionally always been an element of weak attacks, and you know because they have such a fast startup and recovery, it doesn't require the same sort of timing as a basic link, right? This is important to note because Capcom's next fighting game, Darkstalkers, will expound upon this concept, essentially bringing the concept of chains to every attack strength. Chains basically have what you call basically cancel one normal into another normal. They also don't require the same timing as links do. Okay. So in most chain-based systems, they usually start from the weak normal and gradually move into the strongest normal, no matter the variation. All right. So let me just show you here. I'm just going to do. And this is just basically me just pressing light, medium, and then strong. Light, medium, strong. Or weak, medium, strong. Okay. Now, some fighting games don't have that order requirement. All right. So, because links can be difficult to entirely do away with, you're gonna still find that certain games allow you to use them, right? And this is kind of why I'm using Street Fighter Cross Tekken as an example, because of course they still allow you to do that, right? So basically, what you're seeing me do here is I'm basically linking a medium punch, so into basically a linking a medium punch, 2 medium punches, and then basically I'm chaining into a sweep, right? Which is a strong crouching kick, because that's the best I can do right now. All right, so there you go. All right. Now, over the years, other developers have taken a different route when it comes to creating their combo system, choosing to go with something that is more predefined. This sort of works as a way of giving characters a little bit more personality. And I'm kind of going to show you this with Ryu because kind of the first time in Street Fighter history, he basically got what I'm about to explain. So just to give you an idea. Okay, so that's basically a predefined combo. These predefined inputs are properly known as command combos. I like to think of them as set-based instructions that kind of have to be followed in order for a combo to work. Since Mortal Kombat 3, this type of combo has been synonymous with the series, but as you saw with Ryu, other fighting games have kind of implemented it into their own systems, right? Command combos are not always perfect combo strings. Some are designed as a way to throw your opponent off and have mix-up elements involved. In most cases, a command combo can be canceled into as a special move, and titles like Street Fighter allow you to link them into, link them, and it kind of works similar to chain combos, right? So, just to show you, of course, we could just do Ryu's link with his two mediums, and then kind of go into the same command combo. All right. So that's basically just that. And I got one more example I could kind of give you. If we So those are your 3 basic combo types in a nutshell. With this information, take some time with your fighting game of choice to figure out what type or types you may have for combo mechanics. Of course, we are only scratching the surface, so I would suggest you take some time to play around and discover some basic combo strings. Be sure to watch the next video because there's a lot of ground to cover.